Hey there, Sheryl here. I just did a webinar and put out quite a decent amount of content recently on how to have a voice at the table rather than just how to have a seat at the table. And now we're going to take it a step further because I want to talk about how to be a boss in the boardroom. So, not just how to have a seat at the table, not just how to have a voice at the table, but really how to unlock what you're really capable of when you're in a board meeting, but also any type of proverbial boardroom. Now, the first thing is I'm going to give you 4 things to do so you can really speak up and be heard and have the impact that you want and deserve. The first thing is to be prepared. Now, that might seem like it's obvious, but most people that I have either coached one-on-one or in my monthly Limitless Leader program, even folks that are in the C-suite, they are not prepared enough. In other words, they're spending more time worrying about how a meeting might turn out rather than preparing for how they want it to turn out. So the first thing is really think through 1, 2, or 3 things at the most that you want to transpire in the meeting and how you want yourself and how you want everyone else to feel. So that's the first thing, be prepared. The second thing is to prepare your mindset. So really go through and be very empathetic and get into that empathetic mindset, even and especially towards someone who you're worried is going to disagree with you or make the conversation difficult, because influence doesn't happen from a place of anger and frustration, even if it is totally understandable. Okay, so develop some empathy, and empathy isn't about thinking, I wonder what it's like to be that person. It's really stepping in their shoes and saying, I am that person, and develop some empathy for them. And then once you've done that, it's very important to acknowledge and validate others, even when they throw out ideas or shoot you down or what have you. It's a human drive that we feel acknowledged and heard. So the third thing is acknowledge and validate others, even those whom you strongly disagree with. You can start it with something like seems like. So in other words, if someone says, the numbers you came up with for next year, they're never going to work. Your plan is it's really not very smart. It's never going to work. So what you would do is you would say, it seems like, you think this plan isn't going to work, and I get it 100%. It doesn't mean you have to that you have to agree with them. Just acknowledge and validate what they're saying. Okay, acknowledge it. And then finally, slow down your words. A lot of times people, especially women, I hate to say, but a lot of times with men too, tend to lose influence because they get too emotional and they're speaking too quickly. So it's going to seem very awkward at first, but slow down your words. What that communicates is that you are confident in what you're saying and that you really believe in the words that you're saying. It's landing the plane in conversations. Now, I want to take a slight tangent here. I had a client who was in a board meeting, and she did amazing in the entire board meeting, but where she lost some influence is they asked her what budget did she want, and she came out with, I don't know, it was a pretty big number. And she ended on an ascension. So she said, $100 million? And so she was asking a question and her tone went up. So it would have been more helpful if she said, $100 million, and here's why. Landing the plane. Okay, so let's recap these 4 things. They go into there's a lot more detail, but I just want you to think about these 4 things. The first thing is prepare. 1, 2, or 3 things max. How you want things to turn out, how you want to feel, but get crystal clear on the points that you want to make. Make sure you're prepared. Develop empathy. In other words, step into the shoes of the other person. Acknowledge and validate others, even if you strongly disagree with them, starting with seems like. And then finally, slow down your words. All right, keep up all of your amazing work. I look forward to continuing the conversation with you. I think we have one more webinar coming up. Hopefully you will join for that. And I am cheering you on, and happy holidays.